Being angry at things that you cannot change will drive you insane. Like, it will cause anxiety, it will cause depression, it will cause envy, bitterness, and frustration. And as your favorite mental health specialist, we just have to talk about it. So, with that being said, welcome or welcome back. Let's just get straight into today's video. Speaking from experience, what has helped me along my healing journey and what is guaranteed to help you is to talk about the traumas. In order for you to heal yourself, you have to forgive yourself. And I talk about that all the time. But in order for you to actually let go of the attachment that you've experienced is to articulate and express what has happened to you, how it made you feel, and how it affects you. Trying to worry about things that you don't have control over is going to give you a migraine. It is going to cause you to have PTSD, which is you holding on to memories that no longer exist, and suffering and dealing with attachment issues. And as your favorite mental health specialist and just a person, the goal is to identify where these attachment issues stem from, how it's affecting us, and what we can do to release the attachment. Just because you went through certain things in your life doesn't mean that your entire life has to be stuck and stagnant, or that you can't move forward, or that you were just a horrible person and experienced horrible things. Now, everyone in life has been hurt before. There are some people who suffer more than others, so it's not to compare or to contrast, but to validate your experience, because the things that happened to you already affected you. The goal now is to talk about how you feel. And sometimes when you don't have friends, when you don't have family, when you don't have support, when you don't have loved ones, guidance, wisdom, or just certain resources, you feel limited. You feel like being vulnerable is a weakness. You feel like you have to suppress how you feel. You may not confide in other people. You may not trust yourself, or you just may not trust those around you. And all of these challenges are just factors of being ignorant and not knowing any better. So it's like, once you realize that you expressing yourself is not a weakness, you will be comfortable with addressing how you feel. And there's multiple ways for you to address how you feel, whether it is seeking help by going to a therapist, going to a counselor, a guidance consultant, following me as your favorite mental health specialist, looking up and educating yourself when it comes to counseling, whether it's in school, your community, online, having somebody that you can trust and confide in, or like physically writing things down in a journal. So it's like, in order for you to let go of what has happened to you, you have to just say what happened to you. And expressing your emotions is going to cause you to go through withdrawal. So like, most people, when they suffer trauma, especially early on in their life as children, are ignorant, they're naive, they are unaware that certain things that happened to them was appropriate and wasn't okay. And if you're not taught emotional intelligence, if you're not taught how to communicate, you feel embarrassed and ashamed. And the goal is for you to validate your experience and know that if you were getting touched on inappropriately at an early age, that it wasn't appropriate. And it's like, if you didn't know any better and the people did, what could you really do at the age of 5, 6, 7, or 8? And even if you did, let's just say, try to tell somebody, the chances of them believing you, people enabling it, because people are aware of what people do, so it's just like, instead of feeling the guilt and the shame, you just have to start off by saying, this is what happened to me, and if you remember how it made you feel. Because a lot of times we don't ignore what happens to us, we just try to sweep things underneath the rug. And it's not until you get older in life that you start having conversations and you're conversing with friends, families, you're going into jobs, schools, environments, or relationships, that this guilt starts to come back up. And that's why people get triggered by other people when they see certain people doing things and saying things. So instead of you feeling guilty and ashamed, it's just like, you got to talk about the time that you were being touched on inappropriately at 7 years old. You didn't know it was appropriate by your family members, your siblings, your mom, your dad, whoever it was. And that because you didn't know it was appropriate, you didn't realize how this was going to show up later in your life. You didn't realize how this was going to cause fear and paranoia and just a sense of not being secure, or being hypersexual, with yourself and others, and curiosities, and just doing things that are not helping you. Like, you have to talk about those feelings. You have to experience temporary discomfort. And the next thing that you have to do once you address those feelings is just feeling them. So as these feelings that you come up, come to the surface, like if you feel angry or if you feel mad, like you have to validate that. Like, you physically have to say, this made me mad. I dislike this person. I can't believe this happened to me, like, you have to say exactly how you feel in order for you to transmute energy. And I'll make that into a separate video. You have to be honest. So like, if it pissed you off, if you were angry, if you wanted to punch somebody in the face, like, you have to say these things. You have to purge, you have to release the negative energy that is inside of you, because a lot of times when it comes to negative energy, it's a projection. Either people say certain things to you, you witness certain things, you see certain things, and you pick up on these things, or you genuinely feel that way about yourself. But even still, when you make decisions, it's based off of influence. It's based off of what you're exposed to, whether it's right or wrong. So it's like, you have to identify the negative energy that you're feeling, the frustration, the anger, the pain. You got to feel it. You have to cry. You have to yell. You have to grieve. Like, there's no right or wrong way to, you guys heard that? There's no right or wrong way to grieve. You have to take your time. You have to do what resonates with you. So with all that being said, there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself. Always take what resonates, leave the rest. And you just have to accept it. Like, it is okay that you are healing. Like, the situation happened. So the third thing that you have to do is just forgive yourself. Like, forgiveness is important. And the more you practice it, the more you apply forgiveness, the more you take your time and you realize, like, wow, this has been happening, or you've been going through this for a long time, the more you'll see results. But the more you realize to be patient with yourself and gentle. Like, there's no rush to life. You don't know how long you're going to live for. So it's just like learning to be grateful that you no longer have to continue these experiences, realizing that, you know, you made certain choices based off of what you knew, and you are around certain people, places, and things. You just self-reflect, and with the self-reflection is just learning not to make the same choices again, which is making boundaries. So now, if you've experienced these type of traumas and trials and tribulations, when it comes to people, you are not quick to get in a relationship. You're not quick to be intimate with people. You're not quick to allow people to know where you live. You're not quick to, you know, react and respond to people. Like, you allow people to have space. You get to know people. You set boundaries. You communicate about what you like. You communicate about what you don't like. You're not yelling. You're not fussing. Like, you just have to learn yourself in order to learn other people, and just know that, okay, if I used to be in a toxic relationship with men or women and they weren't treating me right, that, you know what, okay, obviously me being in this relationship didn't teach me anything and didn't bring anything valuable to me. So in the future, I know now that if something bothers me, I need to learn how to communicate to my partner, or I need to let my partner know, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Anything or anybody who is not able to respect your boundaries is not someone that's for you. And it just makes it simpler as you heal yourself. So it's like, even when you go to places and you're just like, you're not sure of certain things, you let them know, I feel uncomfortable. Like, you don't surround yourself with certain people. You don't allow people to walk all over you. You don't allow people to manipulate you. Like, you don't have to be upset about what has happened to you, but just accepting what you need to learn from these situations, because you wouldn't have experienced these situations if you did have certain boundaries, if you did know what you know now. Especially like if you were a child, like being touched on inappropriately as a child, you may not have known any better. You know, as you grow older and being in relationships that were toxic for you, you may not have, like I said, learned to communicate, or learn how to express yourself, or learn to be vulnerable. Like, learn from these situations. Don't be so hard on yourself. And once again, this just takes time. And it's like, the more you can be accountable, which is not an attack, the more you realize, like, okay, what's worth my time and energy, what's working for me, what's taken away from me, and most importantly, not being so like upset. I recently just talked about this on TikTok from one of my supporters, and basically she was saying she got broken up on, and she was going through a heartbreak. But it's like, just because somebody breaks up with you doesn't mean your heart has to be broken. So it's like, as long as you're not giving all of yourself into people, you're not going to lose yourself in a relationship. If people don't come into your life and they don't educate you, uplift you, motivate you, support you, finance you, or just allow you to be you, accept you, or do well, you're not losing anything. And that's the thing. Like, attachment is something that needs to be broken down. And of course, make sure you guys are liking these videos, commenting down below, subscribe, turn on your post notification bell so we can talk about it. But it's just like, the attachments is based off of unsuppressed feelings, what's the word, unsuppressed, like suppressed feelings, unhealthy attachment issues, not communicating, not saying how you feel, not being honest, and just trying to ignore your experience. Excuse me. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, let me know by commenting down below. If this video resonates with you, or you want me to go over a specific topic, let me know in the comment section. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ty_guidance, TYI_guidance, TYI.guidance on Instagram, and on TikTok I go live and I do questions and answers. I do polls. Make sure you comment in the story on Instagram to let me know what you want to talk about, as well as TikTok. I'll be live tomorrow when I post this on Friday. What is tomorrow, you guys? I don't know the date. I'll probably put it in the description, but I'm going live. Make sure you guys are following me there as well. And if you want a one-on-one session, head to my website at tyguidance.summer.com, where you can ask me specifically. We can go over and discuss what we need to do. But when it comes to attachment, when it comes to you trying to change things that are out of your control, it's dysfunctional and it's chaotic, and it's just like enough is enough. You don't have to continue to suffer. Once you just learn to come clean, you talk about what's happening to you, you allow yourself to be mad, angry, sad, and once again, it could take years, months, weeks, days. It doesn't matter. As long as you are pouring into yourself, being proud of yourself, and knowing that you're doing everything you can, and you're finding solutions, and you're not making the same choices, why would your life not get better? And that's what we have to work on, is our attitude and changing our mindset. So when it comes to things that you had to learn from, let it be a lesson. Remember, everything and everybody is not a loss. Everything and everybody is not a loss. And the people, places, and things that did you wrong made you realize how valuable you were. Made you realize that you don't need to be around everybody. Made you realize you don't need to be friends with everybody. Made you realize you need to create distance. Made you realize you need to speak up for yourself. Made you realize you are beautiful, you are smart, you are intelligent, and you don't need to be around anybody that makes you feel less than. Because when people love themselves and respect themselves, even if they have differences and disagree with you, regardless if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, gay, he, them, she, he, EFG, they're going to respect you and they're going to accept you. And that's all what this is about when it comes to your healing journey, is accepting yourself and realizing that we have to learn from the choices that we make. It's not something that you need to be stuck on forever. And it's like, educate yourself. The more you educate yourself, you inform yourself, and you apply the wisdom, you apply what you've learned, you'll continue to live your life. And it's not the situations that messes with us, it's how we choose to handle them. So thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye.